Okay, good morning. Today we will see background tasks. That is first thing, async task and sync task loader. So background task. Okay, so to do the background task, okay, so whatever the background processing in Android, to do that, there are two ways. That is using async task class, or we can do the background processing using the loader framework, where this loader framework includes the async task loader class, where this async task loader class uses async. Okay, so let's say here in this async task and async task loader, we'll see why it's important that to process the whatever the task is there. So how why it is important to process the task in the background. Okay, so as we know, what is thread? So thread is a single unit. Okay, where it's doing where it's performing some particular task, where it can be a complex process. Well, thread may be a complex process where the complex process may have a single thread, or it may be having a more than one thread also. Okay, so for example, if you have a set of 50 papers, okay, if you have a set of, for example, to understand what is this threads and all, so if you have example, if you have a 50 papers, you need to have a correct, you need to correct those 50 papers. So doing only one person is correcting all the 50 papers, for example, it's one is a single thread. Okay, if you split out or spread out the 50 papers into a 10 for 5 persons, okay, so it means we can do execution efficiently. That is, doing having it has been spread out for a five particular threads. So that's about the thread. Okay. So whatever the Android applications, whatever the Android applications is started or running, well, all the Android applications will runs on the main thread. Okay, where the Android application runs on the main thread. So which is we often called as an UI. So often we will be calling that main thread as an UI. Okay. So main thread, what this main thread will do? Main thread perform some fundamental concepts, having some fundamental concepts like activities, services, broadcast receivers, content providers. Okay. See, for example, if you have an activity where in that activity you will be having an edit text, okay, and button and a list view. Okay. So if you are performing some task, if this but whatever the task background task to be there, so it should not be more than 16 milliseconds. Okay, if any halting done if any halting happens if you're more than 16 milliseconds, okay, so the UI component on the main thread will crash. It means that our app will generate an ANR. Okay, ANR means application not respond. Okay, so the UI thread, where whatever the UI thread will be using, that dispatches events, okay, where to appropriate user interface widgets, okay, and when our app or your app interacts with the components of the Android UI tool. So main there are two rules, okay, there are two rules that we should not block the UI thread, okay, we should not block the UI thread, and the UI work only on the UI thread. So it means do not access the Android UI toolkit. So we should not access the Android UI toolkit. Okay, Android UI toolkit from outside the UI thread. So outside the UI thread, we should not access any UI toolkit. So first, do not block the UI thread. It means that the UI, whatever the UI thread will be there, that needs to give attention to the drawing of the UI, and that we should keep app, whatever the application will be developing, we should keep that app responsive to the user input. For example, it may have a long running task, like for example, the long running task may be of a network operation, long calculation, or downloading and uploading files, or processing images, or loading the data. Okay, so here, so next we will move on to the async task. Okay, how this threading operations will be performed through the async task. So this async task was intended to enable where this async task has been intended to enable proper and easy use of a UI thread. So we should have an properly use the UI thread, and it should be easy to use the UI. So this async task has been developed. Okay, this async task has been developed to help the thread and handler classes. Okay, to help the class, that is thread class and handler classes. So this async task will be used. Okay, this async task will be used for a short operation purposes. Okay, if you want to perform a short operation, where this async task class, it's an async. So async class implements asynchronous long running tasks on a worker thread. Okay, so worker thread will be the functionality where to get the data. Worker thread, maybe it's a functionality where to get the data. So worker thread means wherever any thread, whatever the thread we will be running, which it's not in a main thread or an UI thread. So if you want to perform any operations outside the UI thread, we need to use that should be working with the worker thread. So async task allows you to perform where why this async task will be used, where this async task allows to perform background operations. Okay, whatever the background operations we need to perform, we can use with the async task, and to publish results on the UI thread without manipulating the threads or handlers. Okay, so we will be using this async task to perform a background operations and to publish the results on the UI thread without manipulating the threads or the handlers. See what when we execute async tasks. So what are all the steps it is to be followed? So how it happens, how the executions will be done. Okay, so for example, as I said, for an example, you will be having an activity where you will be having an edit text button and a list view. So if you assume that the list view is communicating with over the internet to get the data. Okay, so then whatever the background process to getting the data over the internet is the background process, where the background data is getting, that will be working with the working thread. So it will be working with the do in background method. So for that they will be using a do in background method. So this method will be invoked when you want to perform the background task. Okay, so once the background in the background do in background method called will be used, it processes the data. Okay, where this method is not running in the main thread or a UI thread, so this will be of a worker thread. Okay, so it means that whatever the data we need to get or whatever the background task we need to perform, that should not be done in the main thread or the UI thread. We should have a separate thread. So that's why it will be of a working thread. So where this method do in background method, okay, that will be executing in the worker thread. So it will not be executing in main thread. So whatever the data it has been processed in this method, so that data will be passed on to the main thread. Okay, that data will be passed on to the main thread. Okay, to display the data on the UI. Okay, display the data on the UI. So this do in background performs the background computations, and whatever the background computations has been done, and the results will be written and passes to the on post execute. Okay, and result passes to the on post execute method. So where this, see, for example, you will be in some of the applications, you will be seeing that progress bar. Whatever the background task is performing, we will be seeing the progress bar. So what it means, so simultaneously it is updating the UI as well as getting the data in the background. So in those situations, we will be using publish progress. Okay, publish progress method. So where one or more units of a progress. So as soon as it is getting the data, it is getting published with the data. See, for example, as a simple activity with the list view. So what that list is getting the data from the background. For example, if you consider an email, so by in the background it is fetching the data from the internet, as well as it is updating your email. So we will be getting the messages. So that is publish progress. So in those cases we will be using a method publish progress, and it get passes to the data to the on progress update. Means while progressing the data in the background, still the data is updated to the UI. So then we will be using the on progress update. That is on progress update runs the UI thread. Okay, it will be so these three methods, that is on pre-execute, on progress update, and on post execute will be running in the main thread, that is UI thread. So this on progress method runs on the UI thread. So after you publish the data, okay, publish progress data is invoked. So it means this method will be used whenever we need to report any form of progress to the UI thread. So if you want to display the progress to the UI thread, so while performing background computation is still executing, then we will be using the on progress update method. So next is pre-execute. So pre-execute is will be runs on the UI thread. Okay, so this method is invoked on UI thread before task is executed. It means that if you want to perform any task in the UI without getting the before you so this on pre-execute will be used when you want to set up a task instead of showing the progress bar in the UI. It means before you run the task, or you want to run the background task, or if you want to have an async task to be performed. So if before you want to perform any task if you want to run the any code in a part of a UI thread, if you want to run that UI thread before you want to execute async tasks, okay, then we will be using the on pre-execute method. So where these three methods will be running in the UI thread, where this background will be running in the worker. So do in background runs on a background thread. So whatever the work has to be happen, all the work to happen in the background, that will be written in the do in background method. So in the on post execute, which will be running on the UI thread, which runs on the UI thread. So when work done, so whatever the work has been done, so it process the result. This method is going to process the results and publish the result to the UI. So this on pre-execute runs on main thread. So it sets up a task. So before you want to execute the async task operation, then whatever the task you need to perform before that, part of code will be written within the on pre-execute method. So next is on progress update, where it runs on the main thread and receives calls from the end. This method will receive the calls from the publish progress from the background, and this method will update the UI thread. That is about async task. So then usage of async task. Okay. So to use async task class, we need to define subclass of async task, where this class overrides a method do in background. Okay, where this class overrides a method do in background. So in the async task, it will be it provides a three kinds of parameters. Okay, it provides three kinds of parameters, that is params, progress, and results, where params specifies the type of parameter. Okay, so it specifies what type of parameter we are going to pass, okay, to do in background as an array. So next parameter is progress. Okay, so next parameter is progress, where this parameter specifies the type of parameters passed to this published progress method, which means what type of parameter you are going to pass to the published progress method, where it will be passed on the background thread. Okay, so it will be as a background thread. So the parameters are passed to the on progress update on the main thread. So whatever the parameters will be returned, parameters will be passed to the publish progress method in the background thread. So that parameters will be then passed to the method on progress update. So here, see, as in this figure, you will see that whatever the progress publish progress will be there, that will be passed over to the on progress method. It means that whatever the data type, the parameter is passed over in this publish progress method, the same data type should be passed over to the on progress update method. So next parameter is results. Result. So where this specifies the type of parameter in this method, do in background method returns. It means whatever the type of parameter will be returning in the do in background method. So and then this parameter is automatically passed to the on post execute on the main thread. So it means that, so in this method, whatever the parameter will be there, whatever the process data will be processed here, whatever the it means what type of data it is being processed, so that will be returned to this method on post execute. These are the three kinds of parameters will be passed to the async task. So like how to specify the data type of each of these parameter types. So we need to know how to specify this parameter, or use of void if parameter type will be not used. Okay, so let's see how to specify it. So see in this see here public class, see my async task, where it is going to extend the async task with the parameter string, void, and bitmap. Okay, let's see what is that string, void, and bitmap. So first parameter is string, correct? First parameter is string, that is params parameter. The first parameter is params parameter, where its type is string. Okay, which means that whatever the class we have created, that is my async task, takes one or more string as a parameter in do in background. So in the do in background, it takes a parameter. So next parameter is progress parameter, where its type of is void. Okay, it means that whatever the class we have created, that is my async task, will not be using publish progress method. So if you are not using, it should return void. So next parameter is result. So in this parameter, we are passing bitmap. So when you are processing images, we will be using a bitmap. So in this class, whatever the class we have created, that is my async task, where returns a bitmap in the do in background, where it is passed to the post execute. So let's see with an example of this. Okay, so in this example, so we have created a class download files task. Okay, where for this particular class we are going to extend the async task to perform the operation. So async, we are extending async task, so with the parameter URL integer and log, that is params, progress and result. Okay, so this do in background method is protected method. Okay, do in background method is protected method. So see, whatever the params you will be using, so that that parameter should be same to the parameter what we are passing in the do in background method. Okay, here we are passing the URL, so the data type is URL. So and whatever the return type of this particular method should return, the return type should be of a same. Okay, so here we are in this example do in background where this particular method will be downloading the contents. Okay, where in this example we are showing the downloading the contents, where it is a long running task, where it computes, where in this method it computes the percentage of files downloaded from the index. Okay, downloaded from the index, where for that we are using a for loop, where this publishes the, where whatever that has been processed, that will be published with the method publish progress. Okay, where to check for it is cancelled or not, we will be using a is cancelled method inside the for loop, where to ensure that the task has been cancelled or still the system is waiting for that, or it has been cancelled or not, to check that whether the task has been cancelled, we will be using a method is cancelled method within the if statement within the for loop. So next is, so here the detail is params. Okay, so next is we need to progress it. So we need to it means we need to update it to the UI. So for that we will be using a on progress method update, where whatever the parameter you will be passing, where it has to match with the parameter of this particular task. It means the return type should be, the parameter should be same, because once you process all the data, we will be passing to the main thread. So whatever the work has been done, if you are having a data type as a double and we are getting it as an integer, it's a mismatch. So that's why we will be having a proper parameter to be passed. Okay, then here we will be publishing whatever the progress has been done. We'll be publishing it to the, will be progress, that progress will be updated to the UI thread, where we need to set that progress. So set progress percentage, or say only if you want to set the progress. If you want to, for example, here in this you will be having URL. So if you are getting the URL more than one URL, so what we need to do? So that just you need to use the method set progress percentage, progress with the index 0, 1, 2, 3, how many URLs you want, you need to set this progress percentage. So whenever you we will be calling the so every time we will be calling publish progress method. So in this for loop, every time we will be calling the publish progress method, where inside the, where this publish progress method will be called inside do in background. Okay, where this method publish progress method is going to update the percentage of progress, where that will be passed to the on progress. So next is on post execute. Here also whatever the parameter, third parameter you are passing over in this as async task class, so that should have same with the parameter for on post execute. So this is doing background on progress update. So this is doing background, and this is on progress update. This is on post execute. Show that. So after performing task, we need to execute that. We need to show that. Okay. So after we define a subclass of async task, instantiate on it to the UI thread. Okay. Then call. So we need to instantiate whatever the progress we got to the main thread. Okay. So Then for that we need to call execute method. Okay, where passing any number, you can pass any number of parameters in this method. So in this example, we have performed the task. Okay, so where we are going to execute that with an by instantiating the UI thread. So what we have created here, so download files task. So we are instantiating that dot execute URL 1, 2, 3. How many URLs you want, you can instantiate that many URLs. As I said, if you want to cancel this async task, so cancel method, we will be using the cancel method where it returns the false if it could not be cancelled. If a async task has not been cancelled, so the cancel method will returns the false. Okay, so to find out whether a task has been cancelled. So if you want to check whether a particular task has been cancelled or it has not been cancelled, where we need to use is cancelled, where it returns a value from that is cancel method, where that will is cancel will be used in the do in background method. So after async task is cancelled, so once the async task operations has been completely cancelled, then on post execute will not be invoked after this do in background method returns. So next, limitations of async tasks. Okay. So for example, you are using any application in a portrait mode, then you want to shift it to the landscape mode. See, it means that the configuration has been changed from portrait to landscape mode. See, whenever a device configuration changes, a particular activity will get destroyed. So the async task cannot activate anymore. Okay, cannot connect to the activity anymore. So what happens? It needs to newly async task created for every configuration change. So every configuration, every time if you change the configurations, so every time the new async task will be getting created. So old tasks stay around. So if you want to stay around with the old async task objects only, so you may. So if you do that, so what happens? Our app may get crashed or ARN, app not responding. So that's when that happens. So when to use this async task? Okay. So whenever you have having a short or interruptible task, in those cases we can use async tasks, where tasks that do not need to report back to the user. So if you want to perform any task where the task should not don't want to report to the back to the user or the UI, in those cases we can use async tasks. So on the whenever you'll be having a low priority task, okay, there is no much priority on that, in those cases we can use async tasks. So for if you have to perform a high priority task, okay, if we want to perform any high priority task, so in the if you are performing an high priority task, it may take long run. Okay, it may run on the long process, so and won't be able to UI. Okay, and if you are running longly, and if your high priority task is running too long, so updation of the UI is oftenly less. Okay, whatever you want to update to the UI will oftenly not be updating properly. So then in those cases we can use async task loaders. Okay, in those cases we can use async task loaders. So loaders, this provides a asynchronous loading of data. Okay, it provides, this loaders provides an asynchronous loading of data, and it reconnects to the activity after config change. So if you change the configuration, as I said, if you from portrait mode to shift to landscape mode, so what happens in the async task? So that it will not every time if you the activity will get destroyed again, you need to have a new async task should be created. If you use loaders, it will reconnect with the activity after you change the configuration also, and can monitor the data sources and deliver the new data also. So in this loaders we can callbacks are implemented in an activities. So there are many types of loaders are there, like async task loaders, cursor loaders, etc. Likewise. So background tasks are commonly used. Okay, background tasks we will be commonly using where to load the data and forecasting the reports or getting the movie reviews or getting the data from the over the internet. Okay, so loading data is a memory intensive. Okay, loading whatever we want to load the data, that can be of a memory intensive. So data will be available if the configuration changes also, as I said. So whatever you do the changes, configuration is changed, still the data will be remains. Okay, so in these scenarios we will be using a loaders, where it's a set of classes. A loaders is a set of classes that facilitate loading data into an activity. Okay, that will be facilitating the loading data into the activity. So where this loaders will be using loader manager class. Okay, so whenever you will be performing one or more loaders, to manage those one or more loaders, this loaders will be using a loader manager class, where this loader manager class includes a set of callbacks. Okay, when the loader is created, when it's done loading data, and when it's reset. It means that, so for every actions there are so many this loader manager class will be having a set of callbacks. So when to use this, why we need to use the loaders? Okay, when we want to perform or we want to execute the task off with the UI, it means that, so if you want to perform any task uh, outside the UI, then we can use the loaders. So where this loader manager class handles the configuration changes also. Okay, in the whenever the configuration changes, this loader class can be used. So, and by using this loaders, we can efficiently implement the frameworks. Okay, we can efficiently implement the frameworks. And if we use loaders, user don't have to wait for data to load. Okay, the users will not be able to, will not wait for the data to load it for the users. So next is starting a loader. Okay, so as I said, loaders will be using a loader manager class. So we need to use this loader manager class to manage the one or more loader instances within the activity or the fragments. So we need to use for this. So what the instances we need to use? Init loader method, where this method will be initializes a loader and makes the loader as an active. So how to use this? Get loader manager dot init with the parameters. So if you are supporting library, so make this call using. Okay, if you are using any support libraries, if you are using any support libraries, we need to make this call using get support loader manager. Okay, okay, if you are using libraries, then we need to use get support loader manager instead of get loader manager.
ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಂದೈತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಕ್ಕನ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅಕ್ಕಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಡ್ಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಕ್ಕನ
So as I said, if you are using any support libraries, then we can make use of a get support loader manager. So instead of this, get loader manager. So for example, get support loader manager in it, whatever we are. So where this, as I said, it takes the 3 parameters. So first one is 0, null, and so let's see what are all the parameters the init loader will take. So init loader will take 3 parameters. So first a unique ID that identifies the loader. Okay, that unique ID that identifies the loader. It's a ID can be whatever we want to use. That ID can be used by the program. So next is optional arguments, where this optional arguments is to supply the loaders at constructions, where this loader in the form of a bundle. So if already exist, so if the bundle has already exist, then this parameter is ignored. So next is a loader callbacks implementation. A loader callback callbacks implementation. So where this load manager calls to report loader events. So if you want having a reporting the loader event, then we need to implement the loader callback implementations. So in this example, so in this example, we are implementing the loader manager dot loader callbacks interface. Okay, in this example, we will be using a loader manager dot loader callbacks interface. So that's why we are passing reference to itself only. That's why we use the context this. So what are the possible outcomes when we are using the init loader method? Okay, so if the loader specified by already exist, the last loader created using this ID is reused. It means that, so if we are using the ID which is already used, then whatever the previously created loader has been created, so using that same ID will be reused. Okay, so if you are using if you specify, loader will be specified. So if the loader specified by ID doesn't exist, okay, so whatever the ID has been specified in the method init loader, if that particular unique that ID is not existed, okay, then this init loader method triggers on create loader method. This triggers on create loader method. So where in this is the method, what does it is, what init loader will be triggering a method on create loader method. So this is where we are implementing the code to instantiate return a new loader. So in this method we are going to implement the code. So whether this particular init loader method, okay, where it creates a new loader or reuses a existing one, so this method will be created or reusing the existing one. So that the given loader callbacks implementation is associated with load. So whatever the init method will be using, so whatever the init method we will be using, so we need to put that init loader at So we need to call the init method in the on create. Okay, we need to call the init method in the on create. So next is restarting the load. So whenever your init loader reuses the existing loader, okay, whenever the init loader, whatever the init loader method we have been used, so that init loader, when we reuse the existing loader, so when we reuse the existing loader, what happens? So it does not replace the data. Okay, it does not replace the data, whatever the data is contains in the loader. So what times? See, for example, so whenever the user query to perform, whenever the user wants to search, okay, whenever the user wants to perform some search operations and the user enters a new query, okay, so if you want to perform the search operation by the user enters something, so you will be searching that something in the data. So you want to reload the data using the new search item. So in these cases, okay, in this case or in this situation, we need to use a method restart loader method. Okay, restart loader method, and it passes in the ID of the loader. Whatever the you want to restart, so that ID will be passed to the loader. So where this poses another data load in a new input data. Okay, see, whenever the init method reuses the existing loader and it doesn't replace the data where that whatever the loader has been contained, whatever the data it is contained in the loader. For example, when the user wants to perform a search operation, okay, and for the performing a search operation, the user enters a new query. Okay, so we want to reload the data using the new search. So it means you want to perform the search operation with new search item. So in these situations, we'll be using a restart loader method. Okay, in these situations we'll be using a restart loader method. So in this method, and also it passes an ID of the loader, whatever we need to restart. So about restart loader method, so restart loader will use the same argument as the init loader. It means whatever the arguments which will be using in the init loader, that same arguments will be used in the restart loader method also, where this method triggers on create loader method as it is triggered in the init loader. So if the loader with the ID exists, so as I said, if you are having a loader where the ID already exists, so what happens? The restart loader restarts the identified loader and replaces its data. So if the ID doesn't exist, the restart loader starts a new loader. So how to use callback the loader manager? Okay, so whenever the object of a loader manager automatically calls, okay, it automatically calls on start loading method when creating the loader. So after the loader manager manages the state of the loader, okay, this whatever the loader manager will be using. So after managing the state of the loader, where this state of the loader will be based on the activity state, okay, and the data. So based on the state of the activity and the data, okay, the loader manager manages the state, okay, of the particular loader. So to interact with the loader, okay, to interact with the loader, use one of the loader manager callbacks in the activity where the data is created. So what are all the loader manager callbacks? So on create loader, on load finished, on loader research. Okay. So as I said, when you are using a get loader manager dot init loader, so in those cases, after that we need to create the loader and we need to load it and we need to finish it. So when we want to instantiate or we need to return a new loader for the given ID. Okay. So whenever we need to return new loader to the given ID, so then we need to call on create loader method. Okay, then we need to call the on create loader method to instantiate it. So on load finished, whenever previously created loader has finished loading, then we will be calling the on load finished. The on loader reset. So previously created loader is being reset. So where here data is unavailable, which makes that the data will be unavailable. So at this point, whatever the app will be using, that should remove any references to its loader's date. So then we need to call a loader reset. So next, async task loader. So async task loader is equivalent to the async task. Okay, async task loader is equivalent to the loader async task, where this async task loader provides a method load in background. Okay, load in background. So that runs on a separate thread, where this load in background runs in a separate thread. Whatever the result, so when this particular method is running, whatever the result from this method, so that are automatically delivered to the UI thread. Okay, by using a method on load finished, where this on load finished is a loader manager callback method. Okay, it's a loader manager callback method. So it means this load in background is similar to the async task of do in background. This on load finished is similar to the on post execute method in the async task. So this async task usage. Okay, so to define subclass of async task loader, we need to create a class. Okay, if you want to use a async task loader, we need to create a class where that whatever the class we have been created, that class should extend the async task loader of D. Okay, where what is this D? So D is a data type of the data you are loading. It means what type of data we want to load it. For example, public static class string list loader. This is a created class, where this created class is extends the async task load. So with the data type of data that we are loading, it's a string type, string with the list. Okay, so list which is of the type string. So implement. So next, so after extending the class, okay, so now we have created a class where that particular class extends the async task loader. So after creating a class by extending the async task loader, we need to implement constructor. Okay, so where whatever the constructor we are going to implement, where that constructor should get matched to the super class implementation. Okay, so the constructor we are going to implement, that constructor should get matched to the super class implementation. So it means whatever the constructor or the created constructor should take an application context. Okay, this is a constructor, right? So this is a class. For this class we are implementing a constructor. So that class, the constructor will take in context, okay, as an argument, application context as an argument, and passes it into the super. Okay, passes into the super method. So if your loader needs additional information, okay, if the loader wants to perform in our to load the data, so if you want to perform to load the data, we need some of the that loader needs additional information, where the constructor can take additional arguments. Okay, whatever the constructor has been implemented, that constructor can take additional arguments. Okay, so in this example, public string loader, that's a constructor, it takes an application context and string query string. Okay, it's a query string is a string, where this context has been passed to the super method. So the query string is made into the query string, whatever the object has been created. So to perform the load, so whatever the load we need to perform, we need to use load in background method. Override method should be used. Okay, the corollary to the do in background. See, it means that in async task, we will be using a do in background method, where in the async task loader, we will be using a load in background method, where its load in background is an override method. So whereas in async task, do in background is a protected method. Okay, this is an example. Public list load in background. So the return type will be the list of strings. Load in background. So what is this list of strings? So whatever the async task loader class having the parameter, that parameter should be returned in the load in background. Why? Because whatever the data has been in the background data, it has been performed, that data should be returned to the UI. So the data should get matched. So implementing the callbacks. So use the constructor on create loader. Okay. So in the loader manager callback, there is a method on create loader, where this method will create a new loader. Okay. This method will create a new loader. For example, the on create loader, this on create is a manager callback, uses the string loader constructor. Okay, this uses the string loader constructor, where it creates a new loader. So by this method, it creates a new loader of this particular constructor. So whatever the result of this load in background, okay, so whatever the result of this particular load in background are automatically passed to the on load finished. Okay, are automatically passed to the on load finished. It means it passes to the UI. So this on load finished will take the loader and the data, and whatever the data has been did, that will be processed in the on load finish. That data will be set using a method set data. This is the object has been created. This on loader reset. So one more callback, that is on loader reset, is only called when the loader is being destroyed. Okay. So when this on loader reset method will be called, whenever the loader is being destroyed, this particular callback method is called. When you leave the on loader reset blank, so if you leave the particular on loader reset method as a blank most of the times. So this is about the async task and async task load. Are you guys understand?